Hey everybody, welcome back to Integrative Psychonautics. My name is Dave, and on this channel, in case you don't know, we talk about psychedelics and the intersection between psychedelics and personal healing, personal transformation, these kinds of things. Just for context, in case you are new to the channel, I'm a hypnotherapist, I'm a coach. I've been coaching for about 8 years. I work specifically with people around psychedelic related stuff like prep, integration work, these kinds of things, and also just general personal transformation stuff. So if that's your interest, you're in the right place. And today we're going to be talking about something that I think, how do I want to put this? On this channel, it's my desire and my goal and my intention to really bring a nice synthesis of what might seem a little kind of spiritual, woo-woo, out there, intuitive, hard to prove, perhaps a little anecdotal, a little subjective, a little, that kind of aspect of the psychedelic experience, and bring that into a nice alignment and harmony with practicality, science, intellectual honesty, clarity about what we do know versus what we don't know, techniques that actually work. So I'm trying to bring together these two very different aspects of the psychedelic community, the kind of woo-woo, far out, turbo psychonaut side of things, and the more kind of practical, rationalist, logical side of the psychonaut community, the more scientific side of it. And so today's video is kind of leaning more towards the woo-woo, or at least some of you will probably see it that way or hear it that way. But my hope is that I can really present what I'm about to say here in a way that lands for you as being relevant or emotionally salient enough for you to take it seriously. And hopefully I'll present it in a way that's grounded enough that you're not necessarily just going to have a knee-jerk allergic reaction because it's a little woo-woo if you're kind of an anti-woo-woo person. If you are kind of someone who leans towards the spiritual, you've had some really deep, profound spiritual experiences with psychedelics, this is something you may already know what I'm about to say, but this also might be something that you really need to hear or be reminded of. So today's topic is about opening the heart and this idea of what it means to open your heart on psychedelics and how and why that's healing and what specifically I think is really kind of the relevant piece inside of that. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get into it here. So as a coach who works with people in the psychedelic space, I'm pretty much always thinking about different ways to describe certain processes, certain experiences, and really help people to connect the dots if perhaps they've heard something along the way online that might, or even for me, that might be a little bit kind of unclear or vague or ambiguous or hard to execute or hard to follow. And one of these pieces of advice that I think is so deeply, profoundly important to your healing process, to your ability to feel safe enough to heal, to your ability to really have a profoundly emotionally resonant, deeply transformative experience that rewrites your understanding of yourself and the meaning of life around you and your place in it. I think at the center of so much of this process, and surely enough, if you spend time in the kind of more new age side of this community, you will hear people say it's about opening your heart. It's about love. It's about compassion. It's about emotional, heart-centered connection to all of life all around us. And in my own experience, this has been profoundly true. And for me is one of the major things that I've worked on and focused on over the years with my own spiritual practices and also with my own kind of self-healing practices. I really, really credit a lot of my ability to rapidly heal, rapidly transform, meet the kind of painful, sad, dark edges of my own issues and the patterns within me and within my family and, the world around us. My ability to meet all of that without getting too bogged down in it, I think really boils down to my ability to feel connected to compassion and feel full of love in my own being. And so I think this is not only the ultimate resource state for you to discover and learn how to access, but I think this is something that really becomes a potent synergizing kind of enabler for your general ability to heal, for your general ability to enjoy life more, to feel fulfilled, to feel in general, and to really grow into the fullness of who you are as a total being. Let's put it that way, as a whole being. And so I think understanding this practice of opening your heart, for some people it's very obvious. The moment you hear that phrase, you know what to do. But for others, this is kind of an ambiguous teaching, and again, can really smack of woo. Even though I think ultimately loving life is a crucial core life skill. And if you feel thwarted and like there's a block for you in that area, that's generally an indicator of probably some sort of wound or some sort of underdeveloped capacity for you to really work on. In my experience, when I've seen people really have a profound healing and really coming into deep alignment with themselves and really letting go of whatever the kind of core funk and junk that's been in the way is, and once it's really been processed through and healed, generally people move into this profound place of deep love for all of life, including oneself. So what am I rambling about here? What is it I really want to say? Well, I want to kind of direct your attention not just to opening your heart, but to really the moment where love becomes a transformative process or experience for you, right? And it's something I think of, or I want to describe to you as opening or accessing the channel of, let's say, reverence, right? Opening the channel of deeply holding, sorry, just kind of checking something really quick here, deeply holding your lived experience as sacred. Now, that doesn't have to be in some, spiritual construct that doesn't work for you if you're kind of a atheist or an agnostic or, a non-spiritual person. But I think even if you're a non-spiritual person, you can understand this idea of holding something in life as the utmost importance, of the most profundity, of the most holding something sacred in that sense, right? Of just being profoundly, deeply meaningful and important. And in my experience, if you work at opening your heart, or if you have a heart opening experience, there's kind of these layers with it where at first maybe we're using psychedelics and we kind of just get filled with this kind of big, broad, kind of warm, almost childlike joy or love for life, right? This expansive, sunny, sweet, friendly positivity, if you will, for life. And that's kind of the beginning of opening the heart. But then there's kind of another layer that happens where as we open our heart, we get into this place of it's like much deeper, much more vivid, much more like vibrant, and it moves from like being fulfilled and enjoying life to more being deeply touched by how beautiful life is, right? Whether it's people in our lives or nature and the earth itself, or whether it's the cosmos. I mean, these are all classic themes that people experience in psychedelics, or whether it's ourselves, a moment of, or the potential in ourselves, or the potential in other people, the highest of the high of human possibility and capability. And it kind of hits, and it hits with this kind of deep, penetrating reverence, right? I don't really know how else to describe it. It really feels like you go from being like a child and wanting to play and feeling expansive to almost wanting to weep at the beauty, at the profundity, at the amazing exquisiteness of the experience of being alive and the miracle of living and breathing and being a human on earth. And this to me is really where opening your heart becomes a healing thing, When you can touch that level of profound reverence for life itself, for all the people in it, for the earth, for yourself, for the process of living and healing and transforming and awakening, and you can hold that as a like, and it's not even like you're projecting meaning onto it. It's not like you're projecting that this is profound. It's a deep registering of the profundity of life, of the profundity of each moment and how each moment is slipping away. Both the fragility and the fleetingness of life, and also the robustness and the exquisite power and beauty of life, kind of all at the same time, and really allowing that to hit as something you receive emotionally rather than something you're projecting emotionally in terms of joy and that kind of love. So this ability to register the sacred, whatever that means to you, is a pivotal moment in your life. If you have one of these moments, you'll know, and it will be a life-changing moment. It will be a game-changing moment. And this is often, again, what you see kind of in these, the more new age side of things. Some people kind of get a little carried away with making everything a sacred, profound moment. But I think the beautiful aspect of what these people are embodying and what they're kind of portraying is that there is a depth and a sacredness to life that if you let it really penetrate you, that as it penetrates you and you really let that land and you really take in and soak in the exquisite beauty of it, the unbearable lightness of being, if you will, it will rock you to your core and heal you in a big, profound way. And if you can learn this ability to have this reverence for life, then you can start to learn how to apply that way of seeing, that way of perceiving life around you outside of the psychedelic experience with more reverence. Start to see that layer of magic and sacredness and profundity and meaning and ineffability that's always actually here with us in life. But generally speaking, when we're kind of in our conscious mind, default mode, we're filtering it out. We're just not tuned in to the tiny miracles happening all around us all the time, even though they are. And so I just want to kind of, give voice to being kind of an encourager here, a little bit of a cheerleader for you to go there. In my experience, I've never seen someone access, the profound, access the sacred in themselves and have that turn out in a bad way. Never. I've seen people be rocked by it and cry, and be like a bit overwhelmed by it in the short term. But in the longer term, it's always this cathartic, truly cathartic in the sense of cleansing your emotions and your mind experience that really, I think, is one of the major keys to personal transformation, personal healing. When you know that you're able to meet whatever happens in life outside of you or inside of you, speaking of sacred things happening outside of you, when you know you're able to meet all of that with this kind of deep, profound reverence, it really transforms your ability to work with yourself and whatever sensations, emotions, patterns, issues, things you kind of blocked out of your attention that you don't want to process, things we've repressed, things that we know we need to work on, grudges. It really transforms all of that and makes it so much easier and safer to work on because you already know how to meet it with this kind of deep reverence. Right? Underneath all of what's wrong, there's a profound beauty there. Right? And so that's kind of just the point I want to leave you with here is to go there, to try this, to explore this, to understand that opening your heart isn't just about feeling filled up with joy. It's about letting life in at an emotional level and in a way where you emotionally perceive its perfection and its profundity and its beauty. And if you do that, that's going to heal and transform and empower your process in all kinds of ways. So enough said. Hopefully that's not too woo woo. I mean, it's you know, we'll see. But I'm happy to go there because this is one of those resources that is so missing in so many of the clients I work with. People come in and they're just like not only disconnected from themselves or afraid of their own emotions or unable to detach from feeling overloaded and overstimulated or what have you. But another huge one is that they're totally disconnected from their capacity to love, to allow something in emotionally and register the profundity of life. And if I'm being honest, I kind of think that registering the sacred or the profound is not only an under-practiced ability or skill or emotion in our culture. I think it's one of the more taboo ones because it's not rational, it's not logical, it doesn't make you more money, it doesn't make you sexier necessarily, it doesn't give you all the things of material gain that our culture so highly prizes and kind of espouses as being the right way to be as a human being. It's this whole other experience that so many people are missing out on. And if I'm going to be, kind of blunt and frank with you here as an audience, I think it's one of the most beautiful things you could possibly experience in your life as a human being. And I think it's a little bit of a tragedy that so many people go their entire lives without really being touched to the core by the profundity of life. So I would encourage you to go there if you can. Open your heart, and quite literally you can, if you're working with psychedelics, say you're using a classical psychedelic like mushrooms or LSD, you can just spend time focusing on your heart and imagining it open and meeting whatever you experience with love and compassion. This is something that becomes very organic and obvious and easy to do on MDMA if you're working with MDMA, or just as a meditative practice. This is something you can do all day, every day as you go about your day, or even just sitting and doing a classic seated meditation. This is an excellent, excellent practice, which I did for years. And again, I feel like benefited me greatly. So, with all that being said, I'm going to stop rambling now. Hopefully this is a useful little piece of advice for you. And again, sending you much love and appreciation, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Take care.